KD Beats.
Beats Planet.
Y'all would have heard the previous 30 seconds that me and Lieutenant Dan was just talking about.
Fire.
I might have got canceled. y'all might have got Voch up out of here. But by virtue of Voch being who Voch is and not caring about getting canceled, I'm probably going to end up saying the shit one day on my regular show. Dan, let me ask you a question, sir. Before we get going, and this is an inside joke on my show. A lot of people aren't going to have a clue of what's going on. But I just want to get your interpretation on one rap line. If I play one rap line on, I want you just to interpretate what it means, okay? Interpret what it means. What does this line mean to you?
Fuck it. I ain't trying to eat no IHOP.
What does that mean to you, Dan?
I ain't trying to eat no Be inside joke aside, since I don't know the inside joke. I'm gonna say the way that I'm interpreting this is I'm not trying to eat a half price. I'm not trying to get a couple of those little single dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing is better than an inside joke on the Voch Lombardi show. You would just have to know it to be there. The crowd is going crazy right now. You're confused, but the crowd is going crazy. If you just hush and listen, they are chanting his name. And if you wasn't there, you'll have no clue what's going on, Lieutenant Dan. So look, that's what y'all get for missing shows. That's what y'all get for missing out on streams. You know what I'm saying? Be a little better. But let me see who's going crazy in the chat box right now as I say that. But Lieutenant Dan, what's cracking? We haven't done this in a long time. Look at the chat box there. Look at the chat box. We haven't done this in a long time. I said Voch because they're chanting. Because look,
you're not on my show. You're on my show on the reverse oral.
I'm just saying because they are chanting his name. And you just got to be there to know what's going on. My chat box the best. Listen, my chat box is half the experience. Like, I'm cool. The information is straight.
What's up, Deanie?
And don't talk to me like that. Like the show is cool. The experience is fine. But 40% of this thing is the chat box, my guy. I love my people, man.
I love whenever I'm on Twitch and doing my thing and my chat box starts kind of like going and it motivates me. It gets me like kind of fired up to do what I'm doing, whether we're watching film or we're, just blowing the thing up on some video gaming or whatever we're doing. It's great to have some really good quality chat, man.
I really don't like what's going on here. You said, "Hey, Nene," in a very strange voice. She dropped 5 on my super chat. Says, "Digging the man bun, Dan." I'm not feeling that. I don't like it.
You don't like the man bun.
Well, we actually talked about your man bun when you was first trying to turn it into a thing. So I can appreciate the growth, sir. I can appreciate the growth. But
I'll just put it out real quick. Is like if you're not comfortable with your body and you're more comfortable with people telling you how or you should look or how you should not look, then like F it, my guy.
That's
like,
real shit.
That's seriously real shit. Like that's been the whole thing about this whole growth and everything that's gone on, and just like in general, it's just people just trying to tell people how to be, and it's like
that sounds great, but your beard is making me really insecure about me not having one. So with that being said, we got draft today. We got some draft talk today. Me and Lieutenant Dan haven't talked in a good little while. That's not by design, you know what I'm saying? Shit just kind of happens or whatever. But
life, man.
We're gonna talk some draft today. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about some draft today. And I just feel like, because I know you, man, and I told Brandon from Frankly Football, I'm going to try to cross-talk y'all one day, let y'all talk draft one day. Brandon from Frankly Football. I was looking at him. I was like, you know what, Brandon? You look like you got Eric Stokes as a top 5 corner. He was like, I do. How do you know? And I'm like, because if you just watch people evaluate long enough, you just kind of get a feel about who they are. and who they, like the type of prospects they like or whatever. I guess that just comes with doing this for a while. So I feel like we're gonna argue and fuss. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool. It'll be for healthy conversation.
Well, historically we've always been on polar opposites. We've agreed on some players, but most players that we have looked at together, we've been on polar opposites, agreeing on anything when it comes to particular viewpoints on players. I mean, I'm not going to bring up he who should not be named, but
Keanu Neal. No, 100%. Keanu Neal. I told my people yesterday, look, Lieutenant Dan, but I still stand on that. I think that was a situation where we were both right. Keanu Neal doesn't suck, but I do take credit, Dan. This was like 2017 or so, 18, something like that, 16. When was this?
This is 2016.
This was early. This was early when I was terrible at YouTube.
Yeah, 2015 was Vic Beasley. 2016 was Neal.
The reason I was like Keanu Neal wasn't a good first round pick, I think it still kind of applies today with current draft, is that box safeties really don't go first round like that no more. Not that you a terrible player that you don't go first round or whatever. I just think that box safeties end up a little less important. And I was watching Keanu Neal, Florida, I believe, and I was just watching Keanu Neal. I'm like, he's cool. He's a really good box player. Gonna knock the shot at people, bad attitude. Cool. I don't want him covering nobody. So he's just not a first round guy to me. And me and Lieutenant
Dan, that's the defensive of game plan or the schematics that you want to use specific players. I mean, Keanu Neal fits a specific role on a specific defense. So for the Dan Quinn defense that he wanted to emulate from Seattle, he thought that box safety or strong safety, a guy that can kind of come up and help the line, was more important. And I mean, we had already discussed this in length about other safeties that had been in an Atlanta uniform, one Mr. Hall. Right. But D'Angelo Hall was similar to what we were trying to do with Keanu Neal. If Hall was a little bit younger, we probably would have just kept him and not even drafted Neal. Sure. But it's that box safety that you're looking for. Now the league is free safety all day. I mean, the league has transformed because of Pat Mahomes, who, by the way, is a player that both Voch and I agreed on when he was going to get drafted. We were both like, Mahomie is that's the guy. Like we knew. Vita Vea, another dude that we knew that this guy's gonna do great things in the league if he stays healthy. Yeah. And what do you know? He was one of the reasons why Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that Super Bowl. I mean, heck, without him, different story. I'm
going to write this down for the end of the discussion, Dan, because we are going to get into draft right this second. I just feel like you said something that was very important. Let me ask you a question, Lieutenant Dan. Before we get into super player talk or whatever, who do you want the Falcons to draft that for?
Well,
it doesn't matter who you want the Falcons to draft. I'm playing Lieutenant Dan. All right, so listen. This is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna start with Falcons draft. We're gonna do that a little bit later when we talk about each other. I think there's a handful of positions that have a bunch of ambiguity in terms of the top of the draft. We've been talking about draft Illuminati for a lot, for a long time, just as a Voch and Dan friendship has gone. And guys kind of get pushed to the top of the board, but I always give me and Dan credit for this. Like even when we first started, when we was terrible, we never really complied with what this Mel Kiper character was talking about or what the media scouts was talking about. So we end up with a long list of guys that should be position one, like Micah Parsons, like Greg Rousseau, like Patrick Surtain. We'll talk about it. But we just watch a little more film and guys end up climbing them. So I just kind of want to go down a handful of positions, not all of them, because all of them ain't really worth talking about for real. But I do think we can get some good discussion out of a handful of these position groups and find out who Dan likes. And this is where our argument is going to come from. Let's start with edge, because I know we're going to not be very friendly here, because you like a handful of cats I'm just not really cool with. Who's your edge number one?
Edge one? There's no edge one in this class. They're all developmental. Every single one of them. All of them are potential 34 defensive ends / 34 outside linebackers. There's no true edge in this class. I mean, I guess you could say Carlos Basham if you wanted to say somebody that actually looks and plays like an edge, a real edge one. But everybody else is pretty much just, you have no idea what they are. Or you have a really good idea what they are, but they only fit specific schemes. So edge one is just like.
So Basham is your edge one before I cuss you out?
No.
I'm
Basham also developmental. I mean, I guess you could say Wojawari, the kid out of Texas, has probably got the best skill set.
Joseph Osai.
It probably has the best speed.
Okay, because you just fusion dance two people together. Ojolari, Georgia, and Osai from
Aziz is Georgia.
Right. Aziz Ojolari. You said Ojolari.
Sorry, my bad.
From Texas. Okay, so
the kid from Texas is probably the best skill set of the class. He actually has skills, whereas I see a lot of the edge rushers in this class just bull rushing or getting turned out. So a lot of the tape the limited tape that we've been able to get, a lot of the edge class is pretty inferior. In fact, actually, I don't really think there's a lot of defensive linemen in this class that should go round one. Really, honestly, late round one to early round two is where most of the edge defenders should go.
In the thumbnail or whatever, I put a picture of me, a picture of you, and I normally have like 5 different quotes on the screen telling me, letting people know where the thing is gonna go possibly. But in the middle, I just put one line. Me and Dan are probably gonna argue about some shit. Like we're just probably gonna not disagree. So not putting guys in order because it's kind of too early to put guys in order. It's March 21st. We got to the end of April to figure this thing out. You got Basham and Osai in your relative top 3 somewhere. Like that what you're saying?
As complete players, I mean, just as players that have a skill set, they follow the position that they're being scouted at, and they are the most athletically gifted of the current guys. Now, I know there's going to be the people that are going to say that Rousseau has this ridiculously high ceiling. I don't see that.
Are you a Rousseau fan? Because I cuss you out and end this show right now.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not a Rousseau fan. I'm more of a Jalen Phillips fan than I'm actually a Rousseau fan. In fact, Jalen Phillips is probably edge one.
Okay, good. Dan. Okay, good. Okay. So it just looks.
And I haven't caught it with any of your shows, so I don't know who you have as edge one.
It just looks like I gotta like massage this situation a little bit because I was about to cuss you out, but you're ending in the right place, so that's okay. Not that we
Basham,
have to.
Phillips, Osai, Aziz, but of those 4, they're the ones that have it put together.
Okay, we agree that there's a disparity amongst there's not many complete guys. So basically what you got to do is use your thinking cap or whatever and project about upside and how much better guys can get. Jalen Phillips,
Keanu Neal.
No, because that's
why
different.
Why did the Falcons take him? This is the exact same draft with the edge players. With the edge players, it's going to be based on what teams want.
Okay, so Jalen Phillips is my edge one guy.
Really?
Jalen Phillips is my edge one guy. And I don't first of all, I don't have access to medicals. I'm not into the whole, I didn't get a chance to interview him and shit like that. So when we talk about anybody, it's all about the film. When we get to cornerbacks, my cornerback 1 is strictly on film, and I'm still fighting people over my cornerback 1. But edge guys right now, Jalen Phillips, if you take away the idea that UCLA made him retire because of the concussion situation, changing schools and all that, and not playing football for that 1 year, then people will try to use that as an excuse to take away from what Jalen Phillips is. But if you look at Jalen Phillips as a player versus the run, a player with hand technique, a player with a little bit of burst and length, I think one of the more technically complete pass rushes or whatever, I think Jalen Phillips is edge number 1. To where if you look at a guy like Kwity Paye, I think Kwity Paye is a gangster in the run game, but he doesn't do anything for me in the pass game. Ojolari got the length and the bend, the quickness, that one jab, outside move, defeat, but he doesn't have the diversity in his pass rush, and he may not be a demon versus the run. I don't know why people like Jason Owe. I'm just not a fan of him at all. He doesn't do nothing for Voch. You know what I'm saying? At all. Joseph Osai, he's more of a motor guy that's not really refined. Rousseau's terrible. I love guys like Peyton Turner that's probably going to go in the second round because teams can't draft. You know what I mean? So I just think it's a weird little year, and pandemic.
Ellerson, Joe Tryon.
You like Joe Tryon? Because Joe Tron,
he'd be good on a specific team, but he wouldn't be good on like maybe about 3/4 of the teams in the league. They wouldn't know how to use him.
That boy Joe Tron made me sleepy, man. That boy, shit, you know what I'm saying?
He's gonna be part of the cog. He's gonna be part of the clock and the cogs that go around him, and he'll be a player that would do well in like the Ravens.
I don't think he'll do well anyway.
Make a workhorse out of somebody that's a hard worker.
I think he's good, but he does know how to play football. And me and you, we've been doing this for 5 or so years now. It could be longer than that. And we know the guys that are gifted, but they don't know football. You know what I'm saying? It's just something weird to look at how you can. Oh, you're starting to do this move, but you just stop in the middle of the move. You know what I mean? Or you just get here, but you didn't finish. Or you try to finish, but you didn't start well. You know what I mean?
Over-reliance on a singular move, or you look at the history of the player and you go, oh, they're in year 3 and they're now just getting to start and they're just flashing now.
Well, but Dan, sometimes that works though.
There's little things like that, smoke and flames.
Sometimes that works though, Dan, because Azeez Ojulari took over a whole bowl game with just one move. You know what I mean? Have you seen Ronnie Perkins from Oklahoma?
I have glanced at him, and I don't see anything different when I look at him and Takk McKinley. So be buyer beware.
See, Dan, that's crazy because I saw somewhere a couple months ago, and look, this what's so funny about Chatbox or whatever. Somebody ran to my Chatbox, said, Voch, Dan got Patrick Jones as edge number 1, and I was like, what? And I just immediately wanted to.
Earlier in the draft process, say like I think it was like November or October. That's really early for me.
Okay.
But in that draft process, Patrick Jones, he's got tools. But then as I started to look deeper into his games and the year started to play on, and you started to see that he's a little more of a one-dimensional guy. So yeah.
Well,
he's definitely in my top 10, but definitely not in my top 5.
They all got tools. Let me ask you this: as an edge guy, well, like we're just talking about edge guys, right? Do you see Micah Parsons as a full-time edge guy?
No,
because there's some little BS. Who that? Okay, like the cat climbed up under the table or whatever. She just wanted to be up under.
Pulls Jack out of computer. Click.
Yeah,
stream over.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just, pardon me. It's just beyond me. But there was this other narrative that Micah Parsons was gonna be a Von. Why are you laughing, Dan?
Multiple reasons. But anyway, yeah, Micah Parsons, right? Right. Yeah. Edge. Yeah, right. That was the justification for Falcons fans why we should take him at 4. Mm-hmm. And that got staunched out real quick because everybody was like, Micah Parsons on the edge. Does he have any film actually doing that? Not really. Is he better at a particular linebacker like Sam? Well, Sam linebacker is kind of a niche position in the NFL now, so that really doesn't matter. Is he a will linebacker? Can he cover like that? And then when we started to get into that, then we were like, what position does he play?
Sure.
I have no clue.
And
I have no clue where you'd actually be a fit.
And what's even more creepy is his ass came out and said, I would love to play like edge or something. I would love to be a full-time passer. We like, what?
Careful now, because that's the same thing that a Vic Beasley said not too long ago. He's like, I'm a play pass rusher. And they're like, hey, you should probably play some linebacker because you can man cover, people in a short area. That would be great for you. No, I'm not doing that.
But this is my whole problem with that, though, Dan. I think sometimes people just get caught up in their train of thought and they don't want to change it once they made their mind up, which you can't do in draft world, by the way. You have to constantly change your mind in draft world. And, because once upon a time, the Cowboys had the 4th overall pick. And we was talking about, hey, we could draft Parsons there. I'd hate it, but they was talking about it. Cowboys moved back to like the 8th pick. I mean, we can get Parsons here. Okay, cool. Then Cowboys drafted like we were at 12th overall or something. Hey, we can get Parsons here. So if it's a guy that you can get at 4 and 12, you shouldn't get him at 4. You shouldn't draft nobody at 4 that you can still get at 12. You see what I'm saying? And I think people got so enamored with the idea of hold on, time. I just love this one comment in my chat box. So somebody said, finally, Voch has come back to YouTube. My chat box great. So it's just people got so enamored with the idea of we can get Micah Parsons that when more evidence came out that Micah Parsons may not be who he is, they started to create shit to be a reason why we should still draft him anyway. So if they say, "Oh, Micah Parsons is the best linebacker in this draft," and I watch more film and I'll be like, "No, he ain't." No, he's not. And they're like, "Oh, wait, he's the best Mike linebacker in the draft." And then you'll watch more film. No, he's not. No, he's not. And then you go, I mean, he could play Sam, but Sam doesn't get drafted top 4 overall. Then they make up some shit and say, "Oh, well, he can pass rush and play edge full time." No, he can't. No, he
doesn't even come off of stunts well. Like, let's be real here. Like, he is probably a middle linebacker in the league. Maybe.
And then and then he got caught up in what I call the PP grabbing hazing scandal.
Fuck it. I ain't trying to eat no IHOP.
And I don't know how a freshman hazes anybody, but you don't want to be involved in a PP grabbing hazing scandal. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how we let Yeter Gross Models walk away without asking him questions about it, but it seems like Micah Parsons got the brunt of that, of those problems, whatever. Then you add that to, they say he's a guy that's not very mature or he just won't work very hard. So I'm looking at Micah Parsons like, I don't want to take this dude at all. I want to take him at all.
He could end up a Niner. I mean, I know that's not really a need, but you could see Micah Parsons fall out of the top 10 easily. I mean, it's just a player, I think, that he's so niche and what he stands for and what he is as a linebacker. Mm-hmm. And this is not a strong linebacker class. So Parsons sitting here probably is tantalizing to a team that says, well, we don't necessarily need Parsons, but if we had an athletic, gifted tool player, we could put him on the field and let him roam and do some things. But that's not even really what Parsons is. Parsons is you be here, you do this job. He can't really affect offensive linemen like that because I've seen him so many times get just knocked out of the way.
Where'd you play him?
So,
where would you play him?
That's my thing. I don't know where I would play him. Will linebacker, but can he cover like that? Yes and no. It's just somebody's got to take the risk on Parsons.
I wouldn't
want my team to gamble.
Long as it ain't my team. I think.
Yeah, right.
I think the whole top 10 can be all offense. Actually.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be this 40-player run of all defense guys. Personally, in my opinion, that's what I think could happen. Which I don't know how
corner, maybe.
I don't know if a corner
or two.
If I was drafting, if we're going like just the best guys or whatever, and not based on what Dallas would do, but like what Voch would do, I can find you a scenario where the top 10 is all offense. No corners, no linebackers, no, you know what I'm saying, none of that. Who's your linebacker number 1?
I don't have one because I gave up on the linebacker class maybe about mid-January when I decided that this linebacker class isn't worth studying.
I think it's nice.
It's a class of it's just a class of blue collar workers that don't flash. But they do their jobs really, really well. And to me, especially as someone that has to it's draft first, then Falcons second.
Sure.
So when I look at the draft class and then whatever that does for Atlanta, that's where most of my film goes. So when I started watching linebackers and then saw how things were falling, I was like, it's probably JOK.
Sure. I agree.
It's probably JOK just based on the athleticism and the skill that he can utilize.
Yeah.
But Parsons is probably next to him, depending on what kind of team wants to pick him up and do something with him. So it could be either one of those players.
I think we have to be careful when we talk about the class and we just say, oh, it's not a this or that class, because I think what happens a lot of the time is that we grade based on what the top of the class looks like, and then we'll just be like, you know what I'm saying? We'll just be like, oh, it's just true. So at the top, linebacker ain't great, but I like guys like Nick Bolton. I like guys like Xavier Collins, JOK. Jamin Davis, you know what I'm saying? My kid from Michigan, that I can't say his name. My kid from TCU, whose name also escapes me. But it's a solid line. It ain't incredible. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to find no Devin Whites in this class or nothing like that. But I do think you can find guys that can play for you.
I would put Zaven Collins in the top 10, maybe even top 5 pass rushers, and I would put Zaven Collins in somewhere in the top 5 middle linebackers. So if you like Zaven Collins like I do, but don't believe that you're ever going to be able to sniff him without taking him very, very early, then Zaven Collins is probably someone that could push above, say, a Parsons or a JOK, depending on if you also want him to rush, because he actually can rush because he's a converted defensive end. So
that's interesting. That's interesting.
If you want to do that, you want to be the Bucks.
Ricardo, my chat box says this class is barnacles. That's an inside joke. You gotta know it. You gotta be there to know what that means. You gotta be there to know what that means. Y'all wasn't there. Look, hold up, time out, Cardo. You are incredible. Everybody chant Cardo's name, please. Just... Oh, Cardo, that was an incredible comment. And there's so many people lost. I actually asked people in my chat box who's confused about the IHOP line. And there's a handful of people like, I have no clue what this IHOP thing means. That means that y'all don't watch all the shows. That's y'all fault. You need to watch all the shows so you can be up on game when we have inside jokes like this. That's your problem. Watch the last show, you'll know you'll know what's going on. Calvin said you had to be there. You had to be there. We was talking about linebackers. That's interesting that you have Zaven Collins as an edge guy. I don't disagree. Zaven Collins looks like the biggest dude I've ever seen on film. Like on film, he just looks like the biggest individual on the field, and that's probably not even the case or whatever. It just looks that way. So if he had to go line up and go play some edge or something, I could see Zaven playing some edge situation.
He'll be a champion for a 34 team, 100%. He'll be able to play very, very well for a 34 team. In fact, actually, this draft as a whole, just as a comment, like overarching, is really great for a 34 team or a hybrid team that wants to have some individual dudes play. This is actually a pretty decent nose tackle group as well, which is interesting. It's kind of weird.
It's like there are no 3 techs. It's like watch this. All the 3 techs are terrible, but the best 3 techs play 1 tech on film. But this is an incredible 1 tech class.
Yeah.
But all the 1 techs are gonna get drafted late because that's just where 1 techs get drafted at.
Yep.
That's so crazy about it. So my best 3 techs are and this is no order, but Levi Wozurike. I tweeted about him like last year because I was super excited about him. You actually corrected me and told me that he was going back to school. That hurt my feelings. I think he's a real life 3 tech. Davion Nixon is a real life 3 tech from Iowa. Tadaro Slayton from Florida is probably a real life 3 tech. And that's okay.
Did the kid from Florida go back to school, or did he come out?
Tadaro Slayton's coming. He's being drafted this year.
Yeah.
Also, and this is our next big talk or whatever. Christian Barmore, who's technically a 1 tech, but if I look at his skill set, he's probably a better B gap player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you want to just kind of release the dog and let him off the chain, yeah.
But that's what he needs, though. That's what he needs, though. Because if you watch enough film on Barmore, the first thing you're going to notice is like, all right, so his first time on the field is like in the middle of the first quarter. Like, what happened? like where you been at? You know what I'm saying? He don't even start. Casper in my chat box says Barmore's a 1 tech. They play him there. They play him at 1 tech. They play Unwuzurike at 1 tech. That don't mean he should be there. But it's like my whole problem with Barmore. Remember when we were evaluating Deron Payne, and I was like, I like Deron Payne, but he been trash all year. But he only showed up for the big games. Like Deron Payne only showed up for the championship games, right?
And when he was in those big games,
he showed up.
He just showed up. He would whoop people. But then he was playing like Cal Poly Tech and something like that, and he's just like, I'm struggling, man. And they got him at 1, and he's just like, I'm not getting anything done, man. It's just like, but then he's going up against like, I don't know, like Ohio State, and he's like
the best players in the world, and he's smoking the shit out of it. It's tough to evaluate.
Playing down
those
the competition,
guys.
man.
It's tough to evaluate those guys. But when you look at Barmore, you wonder why Barmore doesn't go off until the second half. And I think because if you look at how Alabama set up, they score a lot of fucking points in the first half. So you got to throw the ball in the second half. And if Barmore is going to play one tech for you and you're only throwing the football, then he's going to get sacks or he's going to get pressure. He's going to beat the hell out of people. That's how that works. So now you got to look at Christian Barmore and go, I mean, can you play first down? You know what I'm saying? Or do you even belong in A-gap? That's why, in my mind, Christian Barmore is a B-gap
That's the
player.
doubts, right? The doubts will creep in and whether or not you think that player can do what they do. But you just said early on in this conversation about Barmore that, and you made it just as a statement, just straight from your mind because you watched it straight from film. You have no doubt in your mind that you would throw him at 3-tech and let him go wreak havoc. So don't overthink it. Just put him at 3-tech and let him do his job.
If I was to, if I was coaching and my team drafted Barmore for me, he would be a one tech for 20 seconds. Like, all right, big gap for you. Get acclimated. Learn how to do this. Learn what this is all about. And this is your new spot because this is where you're going to be good at. In my mind, I don't want people double teaming Barmore. I want Barmore to be quicker.
Like Davion. Again, another guy played at 1-tech, allowed it to be there, but it's like, I've seen this story before with Grady Jarrett. Your player comp is close. So, let him play at 3-tech, let him play at 4-eye, let him do what he does best, which is dominate in that gap. But no, Iowa, I mean, we can go back to Vita Vea, where we were talking about Vita Vea. They would play that man at 5-tech.
Yeah.
Why?
I hate
why because he can because he just does what he wants.
It's just
but
all
it doesn't
about
mean he should be there.
It's just all about it's all about projecting. So when we look at Vita Vea playing 5-tech, we go, son, you 340 pounds. Get your dumb ass away. Get your dumb ass away from C gap. You know what I mean? We just got to look at that like that. Okay, so in the league he's 320 or he's gonna be 320, so he moves quickly.
Isn't that just coaches just being ballsy though?
Nah, coaches suck. No,
just coaches being coaches.
No, coaches suck.
I got 300-pound man. Let me put him on the edge over there.
No, son, coaches get fired every year for a reason. They not good at this. Coaches don't get hired because they're good. They get hired because they know somebody. they get hired because they know somebody
100%.
And they did something somewhere. Coaches ain't great. I'm GMs too, player personnel people, scouts. It's always a time to where like the underground people are right about a player. Like the YouTubers, the beat writers or whatever, we're right about the players. But then we look at why did AJ Epinesa go in the second round or some shit? You know what I mean? Like, why did Damon Arnett get drafted before Trevin Diggs and shit? Like why are these things happening? Because people suck, Dan. It's just that the internet gives them this benefit of the doubt because they make millions of dollars doing it. You know what I mean? Well, I make dozens of dollars doing it on YouTube. And I'm more right than them. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus, man.
Brandon R dropped a super chat. What's your thoughts on Kairos Tonga? That's the
I was actually about to ask you about Kairos Tonga because that's another another 1-tech that's actually pretty decent in this class.
Well, see, Dan, there's a long list of 1-techs that are really good. So what's going to happen is it's going to be a lot of day 3 guys that are really good because you're going to look at a guy like Kairos Tonga and you're going to go, I can get Tyler Shelvin later, or I can get a Lean McNeil somewhere, or I can get my guy from Ohio State with the weird name, or I can get Marcus Tuipulotu from USC. I can get him somewhere. It's plenty 1-techs this year. It's plenty of them. You know what I mean? So I just think guys are gonna fall because of that. You know, so yeah, Kairos Tonga from BYU is good. His Coastal Carolina film is really fun. He's throwing kids around, but 1-techs don't get drafted high, you know, or just noses. So 1-tech, 0-techs, whatever. They don't get drafted very high. So what's going to happen is some of the better players in the draft going to be day 3 guys. It's going to be fun. It's going to be 100%.
Fun. I believe that. I really do. Unknown
says Voch didn't like AJ Epinesa. Voch loves AJ Epinesa. He just shouldn't be a second-round pick. He should have been a first-round pick. Definitely a top 50 guy for me. Let's go into this. Do you hate Kyle Pitts?
I don't. Kyle Pitts is going to be the next Julio Jones of tight ends.
I'm sorry. Do you hate the idea of taking Kyle Pitts top 5?
Yes.
Okay, got you. Yeah, sure. Got you. I agree with you 100%. I put on the social media machines, Twitter first or whatever. I was like, how many first round tight ends live up to their draft spot? You know what I mean? Like, how many of them do it? And when we talk about those guys that get drafted like really high first round or whatever, I love their college tape. OJ Howard got incredible college tape. TJ Hockenson got incredible college tape. Noah Fant has fun college tape. You know what I'm saying? But Noah Fant ain't been a 19th overall guy. What's his face? Hockenson hasn't been an 8th overall guy. Howard hasn't been a 20th overall guy. Somebody was like, well, but Voch, he made the Pro Bowl. Look, listen. TJ Hockenson caught what? Somebody in my chat box, let me get a number nerd to fact check me on this. But I think TJ Hockenson caught 69 passes for 700 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. I'm not reading nothing. I just, this out the dome because I've been fussing at people. 68 catches for 700 and something yards and 6 touchdowns. That may be Pro Bowl for a tight end. Sure, whatever. If you draft 68 catches for 700 yards and 6 touchdowns, 8th overall, you should be sick. And I love TJ Hockenson, Dan. Incredible prospect coming out of Iowa. All the tight ends come from fucking Iowa. But incredible prospect. That ain't 8th overall. And then, hold on, Dan. 67 yards for 723, 67 receptions for 723. Thank you, Tyler Scout. So people think I'm hating on Kyle Pitts. You see I'm leaning back. People think I'm hating on Kyle Pitts because I'm nervous about drafting tight end top 10. I ain't saying Kyle Pitts is terrible. I'm just saying the best tight ends are day 2 dudes, and they're either a product of your offense or a product of your quarterback. What's an example of product of your offense? Freaking George Kittle in San Fran and Darren Waller in Oakland. They manufacture plays for him. Not that they're incredible. Waller wasn't drafted. Kittle was day 2 guy, but they manufacture that stuff. What about product of my quarterback? Gronk is a product of Tom Brady. As great as we say Gronk is, he's a product of Tom Brady. Y'all remember Julian Thomas? How great Julian Thomas was with the Broncos? Because Peyton Manning was there. Then Peyton got trashed, and all of a sudden Julian can't get a job no more. It's not a mistake. I'm not saying Kyle Pitts is going to be terrible. Kyle Pitts could be incredible. But I feel great about drafting Kyle Pitts and him being incredible, taking his ass day 2 somewhere.
Never draft a position or a player, like you said earlier on. Never draft a position or a player that you can get the same talent later or at a later pick.
Oh, you spin. Hey, look, they are chanting Dan's name. Dan, son.
Why would I take him at 4? Why would any team take him in the top 5 when there is value at that position in the draft for other players, especially if a team won't be in that spot ever again? I'm looking at you, Jets and Jags. Y'all are just doomed. I'm sorry. Stay up there. But if you don't develop guys and you don't feature them as your number 1 guy, then why are you drafting them all the way up there when there are other positions of value?
So, Dan, TJ Hockenson was drafted 8th overall. Last year, he caught 67 passes for 723 yards with Matthew Stafford. Whatever. Cool. Dalton Schultz, 5th round guy out of Stanford. Andy Dalton threw him the goddamn football. 63 catches for 615 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Those numbers are less, but them the same damn numbers with Andy Dalton. You know what I'm saying? Not that this has anything to do with Kyle Pitts, because Kyle Pitts could be way more incredible than TJ Hockenson. He could be, because his film as a pass catcher is better. But I think there's a reason guys like Eric Ebron and Evan Ingram kind of going through what they're going through. You know what I mean?
What's that stat line again? Say that stat line one more time. I'm just gonna compare it to one other guy here. Say that one more time for me, Voch.
For Dalton Schultz or for Hawkinson?
Say both of them. Say both of them.
Hawkinson was 67 catches for 723 yards. Dalton was 63 catches for 615 yards.
Okay. Hayden Hurst had 56 catches for 571 and 6 touchdowns.
Very similar.
And was the 4th option on his team.
Very similar. Very similar production. Very similar production. Is Kyle Pitts really good? Sure. Is Kyle Pitts like a mismatch problem? Absolutely.
What team is going to commit to making him their number 1 target every single game? Unless you're running an absolute total heavy run package and you're like playing with fullbacks and tight ends primarily, and all of your wide receivers are speed dudes. Is that what you're gonna do?
There hasn't been.
That's not the modern NFL.
There hasn't been an all-pro tight end drafted in the first round since Tony Gonzalez. Thank you, Brandon R., for dropping 5 in the super chat, sir.
Why do people over dramatize and over evaluate tight ends and wide receivers when at the end of the day it comes down to game plan and who you're going to target every single game? You're not even going to target the same guy every single game. You're going to play mismatches. Any team that's not playing mismatches, what are they even doing? What are we doing in the NFL if we're not playing mismatches? If we're not going a corner 1 or corner 2 are worse than safety 1 or 2 on their team, and we're going to abuse that mismatch. It may not be our number 1 wide receiver, it might be our 3rd or 4th wide receiver. Why are we not playing mismatches? What is Kyle Pitts going to do for the Jags, the Falcons, the Jets, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Lions? What is he going to do more for them at the end of the day that any of the current guys that they currently already have on their roster are doing for them? Nothing. So where should Kyle Pitts be taken? Probably towards the end of pick 10, 11, 12, 13. I would even say maybe into the 15th pick.
I think 20-something is fair for Kyle Pitts.
But watch Kyle Pitts get overdrafted by somebody that trades up to go get him.
No, Dan.
Somebody will.
Listen, somebody gonna take him top 10. I wouldn't.
100%.
But somebody's gonna take him top 10. Let me ask you this: if Kyle Pitts was only a receiver, because I feel like a lot of this comes from the
he'd be the top wide receiver in this class.
Would he be the best receiver in this class?
He would be the prototypical X wide receiver. He doesn't have the speed, but he would be probably under who's current wide receiver 1? Waddle? Is it Waddle who's number 1?
I don't even think we know. I think Waddle, Chase, and Smith is wide the hell open.
Yeah.
I think it's wide the hell open.
And you were probably going to ask me that in a bit about who's my wide receiver 1, and I completely agree with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know because they're all different. None of them do the same exact task.
Yeah.
So they're all different depending on what you need. Same thing with Pitts. It's like Pitts. What do you need?
Sure.
San Fran would be an interesting place to go put Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. Yeah. But
But
but now he gets to be tight end 2 behind freaking what's his face that they just paid a bunch of money. You know what I mean? It's just so. I just think value is so real in draft. Like, and people can pretend like value is not important. Cool, draft the best kicker in the 2nd round. Why don't you just do that?
People talk not only about value, Voch, but they also talk about the draft as a crapshoot. If they don't get the value out of their narrative and which player is better than what, and you give them solid evidence to say that player is not as good as you're saying they are, then they say, well, the draft's just a crapshoot. And you don't know what you're getting. Well, of course you do know what you're getting. You scouted the player. Yeah. You should understand the traits of the player. And then, by the way, after that, it's the development of your team and your coaches of developing that player at their position. By the way, if your development is trash on your team, doesn't matter how good you scout at the end of the day. So whether you're a Falcons fan or a Cowboys fan or an Eagles fan, if they're in here, I swear to God, if you are, get out. But if you're any fan of any single NFL franchise, if your development process doesn't work, it doesn't matter who you drafted. That may be the reason why you're saying it's a crapshoot is because you can't develop your guys and your team always sucks.
Sure. Sure.
That's your coach's problems,
That
not your GM's problem for drafting.
That was one of my favorite tweets of what the draft is not a lottery ticket. Your team is your team just sucks at doing it. your team lowers your percentage. Yeah.
This is a business. There's drills, there's coaching, there's development, there's seasoning of players. Players don't just magically appear and become good year one. By the way, here's another deterrent on Kyle Pitts. Is Kyle Pitts really going to be up to NFL speed? Year one is going to be a primary target for somebody, because everybody's talking up Kyle Pitts or Waddle or Chase or any of these dudes. Year one, they're going to come out and just start smoking people. Who said that? Who implied that?
It depends on what quarterback ends up getting Kyle Pitts. If Kyle Pitts goes to a team
what system Kyle Pitts plays, what system Waddle plays.
Sure.
Well, let's not talk about QBs. QBs are arms to get to a particular player.
We the boys,
a symbiotic relationship between those players. It's not a one thing to one thing.
We them boys 5 says if we, and he's saying we as Cowboys, if we draft Kyle Pitts 10th overall, we can score a minimum 30 points a game. We'll be unstoppable. But here's my problem. We can already average 30 points a game with goddamn Blake Charles and Dalton Schultz. Andy Dalton was out that
Amari
bitch.
Cooper and CD Lamb.
I don't know if we got that much room. I mean, like, because look, Pitts will be fine here. Pitts will be fine in Dallas. Don't get me wrong. But if it's like Pitts or like Rashawn Slater, kiss my ass, son. What, fam? Get the offensive
Slater every day.
Get the offensive lineman. Get the defender, get the receiver, get the quarterback, get the edge guy. Because
I know you're trying to run a show, Voch, but I gotta ask you this question. It's been burning me up, man.
Yes, sir.
It's been burning me up. So many months ago.
Oh shit!
You had a claim that, and I followed through with this claim because I believed in it. That Penei Sewell.
Okay, cool.
Would be a better transfer to guard than he would as a tackle. Yeah. Do you know that the byproduct of you mentioning that and then others mentioning that was then the justification of a certain fan base to take him and the top 5 and move him to guard to justify not taking other positions? Did you know that your actions had consequences to other fan bases who took your words, rolled with it, and then the content creators of said fan base, and you can see that it's my fan base because I'm getting pretty heated about this nonsense, to move him to guard would be the best option because you can't move him to tackle and then move Jake Matthews to tackle, right? But now everybody in the top 4 has talked about moving Penei Sewell to guard. If I'm drafting Penei Sewell, I'm putting him at his natural goddamn position, and I'm putting him at left tackle, and I'm letting him do his job. Otherwise, I'm not drafting him.
Fuck it. I ain't trying to eat no IHOP.
This is my problem with that, Dan. This is my problem with that. When we talk about natural position, in my mind, I think about what position are you naturally good at off the rip. In my mind, what's your natural position? Penei Sewell will probably be an incredible tackle in the league. Probably. How long, in my mind, will it take for Penei Sewell to be an incredible tackle in the league? It depends on how long it takes for him to get his hands and his feet correct. Yep. Can you live with the bumps with Penei Sewell playing tackle? Yeah, you can live with that because for the most part, he'll be bigger and stronger and quicker than people, so he'll, you know what I mean? Some technical people are going to give him a hard time, but that's fine. How good can Penei Sewell be at guard right now? Penei Sewell can be one of the best guards in the league right now. Today. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a situation where I'm the Cowboys, and this is where most of the argument came from.
Based on your player development, right?
Sure. If this is an idea that really started with a Cowboys conversation, Voch, would you rather trade Tyron Smith and draft Sewell, or would you rather draft Sewell and put him at left guard? So I started watching film on Sewell, and I go, yo, this dude can whoop people in the phone booth right now. His feet may not be ready right now. If you watch Tyron Smith kick If you watch Tyron Smith kick set, then watch Penei Sewell kick set, you'll see what I'm saying. If you watch I know. Dan, time out. If you watch Rashawn Slater's kick set versus Penei Sewell's, you'll go, okay, fine. I see what you're saying.
Well, you didn't ask me about my tackles and who's my number one tackle.
Well, Dan, hang tight. We getting there because Voch is running this show. Voch knows what he's doing. And if you just know you're rolling, shut your mouth. You'll listen as they're chanting Voch's name.
All the Hulkamaniacs out in the chat right now.
You do not disrespect the war chant by talking, jabroni. Shut your mouth. Voch says this: if you watch Rashawn Slater and you go, damn, that's what you do to Chase Young in year one, in your infancy, and then you watch Penei Sewell and go, yeah, man, these Utah kids giving him a hard time. Boy, these Stanford kids giving him a hard time. Like, we see how great his feet is. We see how powerful he is. We see him knock the shit out of these DBs. That's cute. We see Bradley and I give him hands. One of my favorite Penei Sewell plays is Jay Tufele from USC. This was in 2019. Jay Tufele ended up from B gap to C gap. And Jay Tufele is another guy that has no clue what he does with his hands. Jay Tufele ends up going up against Penei Sewell, and they both just kind of chest bump into each other because they don't know what to do with their hands. It's one of my favorite plays. If y'all go watch Oregon versus USC 2019, you'll go find it. To where I've seen Rashawn Slater whoop Shang Tsung. He's whooped Shao Kahn. He's whooped whoever's at the end of the boss fight. Chase Young, I've seen Rashawn Slater whoop that dude. Then he goes on to whoop everybody else. That's why Rashawn Slater is my tackle number one. Now, Dan, do you agree, or do you have Penei Sewell, or do you have Tevin Jenkins or Christian Darrisaw as your tackle one?
No, it's Slater to me.
Okay, cool.
It's Slater one.
Cool.
It only took one game for me. I didn't have to watch any more tape after that.
You didn't. Dan, listen, Dan. I'm on Twitter cussing somebody out. I don't like cussing on Twitter, but I'm cussing somebody out. And it was like, well, Voch, you just can't say Rashawn Slater's that good based on that sample size. I'm like, you bullshit me.
I had to watch 7 tapes of Penei Sewell to figure out that, yeah, he could be probably a really good left guard. I would naturally draft him at left tackle if I'm drafting that high. Mm-hmm. If I'm drafting him at, say, 4. Yeah. I'm drafting him to be a left tackle. I'm not moving him into guard just because I drafted him at 4.
Yeah.
Like, that's not happening for me.
Yeah.
There's plenty of guards in this class and plenty of them that I like that I can get at the end of the first, beginning of the second, beginning of the third, beginning of the fourth, honestly, because that's how deep this class is. Why would I do that? I could take Slater. I really could. I could take the kid out of Alabama and I would be fine as well.
That's my guy.
Just saying.
One of my favorite quotes or just analogies or whatever, right? Like if you was a GM and I was a scout, right? And I walked in, I gave you 2 scouting reports. One scouting report says, big as hell, strong as hell, quick as hell, got to work on his feet, got to work on his hands, but has potential to be all pro. And the other scouting report, all it said was, I whooped Chase Young for 4 quarters. Which one do you take? Which one do you take, Dan? Which one do you take?
Well, I mean, I get Chase Young like whooped up on pretty much about everybody. I get it. But it's not like just because he has a couple of highlights in the NFL up to this point that he hasn't been whooped by some NFL quality tackles. So,
well, Dan,
I won't slander Chase Young, but I will say that if you whooped Chase Young, I'm probably on your squad.
Well,
you're probably team Dan.
Well, let's add context to this, Dan. Yes, Chase Young has been overhyped in the NFL so far. Chase has been cool as a rookie, but
I don't have a problem with him.
But they acting like Chase been beating the shit out of everybody, and that's really not the case. No. But Chase Young as a college football player is in game as a college football player in 2019. Chase Young is the guy. As close to a pro prospect as you gonna get. Now, I understand Penei Sewell got some pretty good reps against like Marlon Davidson at end or whatever. And those are some cool reps. He wasn't whooping Marlon though. Rashad is whooping Chase. Rashad Lane is whooping Chase Young. You know what I'm saying? I just think that just makes it incredibly clear for me. Now, Chase probably won't. Rashawn Slater probably won't be the first offensive lineman on the board. He'll probably be the third guy off the board. I think guys are going to overrate Darrisaw's length. I think Darrisaw is lazy, but they're going to overrate Darrisaw's length, and Darrisaw might get drafted over Rashawn Slater or whatever. But Slater's good money to me in my mind.
Look, man, I hear a lot of people talk about Chase Young being like the Ryu of the NFL, just whooping up on everybody.
No,
and I'm like,
Dan,
you've never seen. You got whooped by Slater, who I consider to be Scorpion. So you never played that game, but maybe about once, and you got whooped. So I'd love to see you in the NFL go up against each other. In fact, actually, I hope he goes to the same division. That way I can see him get whooped twice.
Cowboys.
Twice in the same year.
Cowboys.
We love it.
Please.
We love it.
Please, please,
do it.
Rashawn Slater be a Cowboy so we could deal with Chase Young for the next however many or so years.
For 10 years. Shut down Chase Young.
2 more questions, Dan, then I'm going to leave you alone. Who are your favorite corners in this class?
Hall.
Who?
Probably also the kid Hall out of South Carolina. And then
Horn, Dan.
Horn. Probably Horn, Farley, and then probably Asante Samuel Jr.
Okay.
Are my 3.
Okay. Have you watched so Surtain ain't in your top 5?
I've seen this corner before.
Cool. Georgia Kid is not nowhere in your top 5.
No, not even I wouldn't say not top 10, but man.
Have you seen Greg Newsom from Northwestern?
Mm-hmm.
Is he anywhere close to your top 5?
Probably 5.
I think that's fair. What about my cornerback 1? What about Boss Man Fat? Where you got Boss Man Fat at?
Boss Man Fat.
Boss Man Fat. That's his rap name, so I call him by his rap name. His mother gave him the name Kelvin Joseph. He used to play at LSU. Then he made a mixtape and then he went to Kentucky. But I call him by his rap name, Boss Man Fat. He's my cornerback 1 right now. Where you got Boss Man Fat? Or have you watched him?
I have watched him, and I don't want to commit to saying that he's CB1 or 2, just because I know that people are going to look at him and they're going to take the name before they take the player.
Sure.
So where he's going to end up is probably not CB1.
Sure.
But
Boss Man, now look, this is the problem with Boss Man Fat, and I
really don't want to on live be like Kelvin Jones is 1.
He is. he is.
I didn't want to commit to that.
Now,
I don't know why. I don't want to commit to it.
Now, he probably won't get drafted first. He may not go first round because he's gun under the seat guy. He's here's my mixtape guy. He's who got weed here guy. He's also I may have choked my coach guy. I don't have a problem with those guys because Marcus Peters was those guys and he was cornerback 1 in his class. So I don't have a problem with Kelvin Joseph being those guys. I just think the league are, they're going to be a little more careful with that guy. But just based on film, Boss Man Fat looking like cornerback 1 to me. Then J.C. Horn. Then it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between Farley, Surtain, and Newsom.
I would say that Samuel Jr. comes in at 3.
Okay.
And then it's probably Surtain. Yeah. To me, I think the next one that comes up is probably Newsom and then Paulson Adebo.
Paulson Adebo is really fun. He's really fun.
I'd probably say that's probably the order.
Yeah. I got him as a third. It's a lot of day 2 guys that just kind of bunched up. Paulson Adebo, Melon Fonwu, little brother, I forgot his first name. Ifeatu, I believe. Melon Fonwu. Ifeatu. Stokes is probably a day 2 guy.
I can say Ifeatu, but I can't say freaking Horn. Why? What's wrong with me tonight?
Because you just smoke like weed. Hold on, wait. Dad, wait. On that, wait. I gotta play. Oh wait.
Fuck it. I ain't trying to eat no IHOP.
Can I play the
I'm getting into this joke now.
Hold up, Dan.
Now I'm getting into this
Hold
joke.
up, Dan.
Slowly being pushed into it.
Hold up, Dan. Can I play the very next line?
That's when I'm in town. You could put that lumps out.
Y'all have no clue.
What is this?
No clue. Y'all should watch the show. Y'all should watch the show when it's on and stop skipping episodes and shit. Then you'll know what the hell's going on. Shouts out to Cashapp. Yeah, man, it's a lot of corners. It's a lot of one techs. I think it's a lot of edge guys. Honestly, it's a lot of interior offensive linemen. You've grown into quite the offensive line, goddamn. So, shouts out to you.
Learn from the best. When you learn from the best in the game and you apply those same principles, you go deeper with other guys. You have debates and discussion, and then you take that same base that you learned from and apply all the new things that you learn, and you see that the base still has more value than what you've learned from everything else. Then more. Chat. I need you to shout out Voch. Just shout out Voch, because really, seriously, a lot of the young people in the game, a lot of the up and comers that followed him, they're better at their scouting now for their specific fan bases than they ever were when they first started out. So shout outs to Voch. Seriously.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Did you know that Nick Gashler's 17 now?
Wasn't that boy like 12 when we met him?
He called in one show.
I'm old.
He's driving, he's playing football, and he's having woman problems. And you know how I get with the woman problem.
Woman problems. Oh, no.
I'm trying to help him.
Oh no.
Nick is grown, man. Nick has definitely grown up. He'll probably listen to this and come back and tell me about it or whatever. But I think it's a lot of value in dates. I think that's where the best parts of this draft is, like between pick 15 and pick 74. I think that's where the best value is. 15 to 74. Or maybe like 20 to 74.
I won't disagree. I'll just push it up a little further. I'll say that like pick 22 or 23.
I'll take that.
Is when things like are gonna get real crazy.
I think whenever the first safety comes off the board, I think shit's gonna go crazy. I think shit's gonna go crazy, and that's only because I think somebody's gonna take a safety in the 20s.
It's probably gonna be Trayvon, right? You think?
I hope it is. I hope that motherfucker go in the 20s.
It better not be Grant.
I hope he goes because
Grant.
I need Richie Grant at 44. Playboy.
I didn't even know your take.
I need Richie Grant at 44, Playboy, so Morig can go. Morig can go.
I didn't even know your take. I didn't know who your safety one was. I was just like, Richie Grant's my safety one. Like I live here in Central Florida. I've watched all his games. I watched the.
Dan,
he's so good.
So Dan, I hate DBs. There are two players I've gotten. Hey, Crystal.
She's gone.
Oh, what shit. I hate DBs, Dan. Can't stand DBs. They make me sick. I hate watching them. Every year, I hate watching them.
Worst film.
There are two DBs I have been so obsessed with. I've watched every game they've been a part of. That's Boss Man Fat from Kentucky, and that's Richie Grant from Central Florida. I just wanted to keep watching Richie Grant. I just wanted to keep. We'll do a follow-up show with phones tomorrow. I just kept the first game from Richie Grant I watched. It was like Tulsa or some shit, right? It's like Tulsa. And that motherfucker made a play from the offensive right hash to the offensive left numbers. And I was like, shit, that's a good start. And then he started tackling people, Dan. Like he started coming downhill and wanting some, Dan. You know what I mean? I'm like, this must be an anomaly. I got to go watch something else.
What does it remind you of that you may have scouted in maybe the last draft or even the draft before? Because one player comes to mind immediately when I watch Richie Grant.
As a safety?
Yes, sir.
You're not thinking like Derwin James, huh?
No.
Okay, cool. I don't know who you're thinking in particular.
Antoine Winfield Jr.
Possibly, yes. But bigger.
Sure.
But bigger.
But bigger.
Yes.
But bigger.
Yes. Antoine had that same feel for what a football is.
You just knew.
And look, when you watch Richie Grant, like Richie Grant may not make all the plays on the football, but you can watch a play not go to his side and he read the shit out of it. Like if the quarterback throws to the left and Richie and some receiver combo is on the right, you'll see Richie go, they're coming at you, and he'll bite that route to where you go, if the quarterback threw it there, that's ball game. You know what I'm saying? Love that. Richie Grant's my
This is a great
safety.
question. Great question in your chat, dude.
What they talking about? What they talking about?
Grant or Kelvin Joseph if they're both at 44?
Hey man, don't ask me no shit like that. Yo, don't disrespect.
That's not disrespect.
Don't.
That's just called tough love. You gotta have to make a choice.
Hey, look, this is how I feel. As hard as it is to find one high safety, I'm taking Grant. As hard as it is to find one high safety, if I miss out on Kelvin Joseph, I'll get Newsome, Adebo, I'll get Melanfon. I wouldn't like missing Joseph, but I'll live. If I miss Richie Grant and Morig is gone, I only got like another option left. I got like one guy left. You know what I'm saying? And that's like Washington from TCU. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm running out of guys. So you gotta go Grant. You just gotta go Grant. And plus I can find a corner next year. I don't know if it's gonna be a safety next year or the year after that. You know what I'm saying? I think about
this coming class is going to be really great defensively. Now I don't know about the safety class itself, so I'm with you on that. But I'm telling you that this class is offensive driven. The next class got to be defensive driven.
If you think about the last few safeties or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's complete. You know, like I like Xavier McKinney, but he's not cover guy. I like Antoine Winfield a bunch, but some teams probably wish he was taller. I like Grant Delpit. I wish he would tackle. You know what I'm saying? Or I like Derwin. I wish he was healthy. Yeah, like there's just a caveat everywhere. You know what I'm saying? There's no caveat with Richie Grant. You know, like guys like Taylor Rapp is a rotational player now. You know, Juan Thornhill got his job took. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson got beat up on the field. Like, you just run out of complete guys. And I feel like when you have a chance to get a complete guy like Richie Grant, you go get fucking Richie Grant and just don't think about it no more. Yeah. I hate the fact that safety gets picked not in the first round. I hate that the league doesn't value safety in that way, that they got to go get guys, day 2. If it was up to me and I had a pick in the 20 somewhere, I'm fucking getting Richie Grant.
Especially with the way that the NFL is changing nowadays. I mean, you and I haven't had a lot of time to talk and really go back and forth on things like this, but like the NFL has changed to a free safety dominant league. Why are safeties not going higher or earlier in drafts? And again, in a league where you need more coverage.
I don't think
you sacrifice defensive linemen and linebackers for more coverage in nickel sets and big sets.
Damn.
You need more nose tackles in this game. You need more nose tackles in this game. There's going to be a lot more 3-down linemen going after quarterbacks nowadays. And you're going to need more big nickel and little nickel, more dime, more quarters. That's just the way the league's going. So I'm surprised like you are.
I don't think Richie gets to the second round, though. Because if you think about trends, you think about how what's my man?
He's gonna get late first round.
What's my man? Little Missile.
Maybe in 15.
Darnell Savage. So Darnell Savage went in the 20s. Malik Hooker went 17 or so. Derwin went 16 or so. 16, 17. It's just I think like when you find corners like that, find safeties like that, I just think they go late first, and I don't think we're gonna have a chance to get them, which sucks. Man. Anyway. I know I hit you with some bullshit earlier. I apologize. Who do you think the Falcons draft at 4? Who do you think they draft, and who do you want to draft? Because I know those two things are not the same thing.
It's not necessarily true because of the narrative that's going on in Atlanta right now. They restructured Matt Ryan's contract, but the contract itself, when you look at it, is still movable next year. So the problem is if you are a non-Atlanta Falcons fan and you are looking at the Atlanta Falcons going, Kyle Pitts and Sewu and Slater and on, and you're trying to justify not taking a quarterback at 4, then you're not reading what the Falcons are doing. And again, it goes way too deep, and I could be on here for 2 hours trying to talk about it, but what the Falcons are going to do, most likely really look hard at what quarterbacks are left after Trevor Lawrence goes and whoever the Jets take.
I hate that though.
I mean, I hate that too, but there's two reasons why. Reason one, you're at 4. When are you going to be at 4 again? What position? We were just talking about it earlier.
O-line.
What position should you be justifying at 4?
O-line.
How old is Matt Ryan right now?
30.
What's his contract looking like?
30. So Matt Ryan, what, 38, 37, 36?
He is 35 or 36.
He got time. He still got quarterback time. Yeah.
And he's got 3 years left on his contract. And they just pushed money back on his contract, but it's still able for them to move away from it next year in the offseason.
So draft offense.
Nothing changed.
I think Falcons fans, for the most part, what I've been seeing, the ones that don't want to draft offensive line don't want to do it because y'all just got McGarry and my son Chris Lindstrom. But I just think Sewell and
Lindstrom's going to get paid. That's the issue here is that if you slot in an offensive lineman here, and Matt Ryan doesn't look good this year, then you're going to have an issue going into next year because you're going to win a couple of games this year because we're going to be better coached, honestly. You're going to win a couple of games. We're going to play 17 games this year, right?
You know what they should try to do with Matt Ryan's career, like, trajectory, I guess is the right way to say it. Like, do what the Cowboys did with Tony, right? You know, Tony was gunslingy guy where he'll throw the ball like 50 times a game and it'll like work, but you wouldn't win many games doing it. But when we super invested in O-line, ran the ball and took Tony's attempts from like 50 throws a game to like 28 and just let Tony make the right throws, Cowboys got really good, regardless of what happened on defense or whatever. Now, I don't think the Falcons are putrid on defense. I just think like a handful of moves can be made and you know, like shake shit up or whatever. I just think the offense can be more efficient. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. So in that way, just don't make every game a freaking shootout. You know what I'm saying? Don't make Matt Ryan throw the ball 50 times a game. Matt's fine. I'm fine with Matt Ryan because I think it's hard to find quarterback.
All right, I'll throw it at you this way.
Go ahead.
I'll throw it at you this way.
Go ahead.
My line consists currently of a veteran left tackle who just took a restructure, no left guard,
sure,
a center who played left guard who's still a rookie,
Chris
Hennessy.
Hennessy's at right guard.
He was at left guard last year.
Hennessy's at center. Hennessy's at center. Okay.
Is now being moved to center.
Hennessy wasn't good in the first place.
He played one game last year in center.
Time out. Hennessy wasn't good in the first place. I remember watching Senior Bowl footage, mad because I thought black people were really gonna get behind Hennessy because his name is Hennessy, and I'm like, oh, should he go into Atlanta where all the black people at? Hennessy gonna be great in Atlanta, and Hennessy, you know, but Chris at right guard and Caleb at right tackle, right?
Right, and they put a second round tender on Matt Gano, who is a right tackle / guard. So you tell me, now that I've thrown that at you, how do you fix that? How do you fix? Tell me how you're making that line better.
Fix your left side.
And because Sewu is not going to immediately fix this line.
Who is Sewu? Sewell, Dan. Shit, man.
Sewell.
Dan, you need to.
Sewell's not making that better. Slater's not making that better right off the bat. Year one. You're not putting Hennessy at center and going to make that work with Matt Ryan's limited time. If you're going to work with Matt Ryan, you need veterans to get into the interior of the offensive line. We don't have any money.
Which is
we
why
got $5 million in our pocket right now. That's all we got.
Which is why you draft offensive line. So whoever you would take
at 4,
yes, whichever offensive lineman you would take at 4. You can plug at guard until you figure out if you really want your left tackle to play left tackle for you. Jake's still there, right?
Matthews?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Push Jake off the fucking bridge, man. Jake can go. Jake can go.
Love to do that, but you don't have any left tackles after that.
Which is why you...
I only have like 4 or 5 offensive linemen on my current line.
Then draft offensive line. Take the best guy. Just take the best guy.
So I'm here just to make sure that everybody's aware that Trey Lance needs to be at 4. That's just how I'm saying it.
Oh, damn.
Trey Lance at 4.
That's some foolishness. Hold on.
No, it's not.
It's
It's not foolishness.
I ain't trying to eat no IHOP.
Dan, that's barnacles, man.
No.
Dan, that's barnacles. I wish I could find barnacles in here. Dan, that's barnacles, Dan.
Works completely with what you're trying to do with Arthur Smith as an offense. You know this line's going to be trashed for at least another 2-3 years. You know you're going to move on from McGarry in a year.
So why the fuck won't you draft offensive
You're going to pay
line then?
Lindstrom.
So why don't you draft offensive line if you're going to do all that? If Jake
Because
ain't
you're
great,
not going to get another shot at quarterback because you're going to be good enough to be in the teens to late 20s.
I think
That's how this team's going to operate. That's the Falcons' thing to do, is to be bad, be right where you need to be able to restart everything and start putting it down the right path. But then you go with the quote-unquote best player available at 4, Sewell, and you launch him into left guard, and like that saved Matt Ryan.
so. If you do that, sir, you may be
With Hennessy as a center that's never played.
I tell you what,
He's trash. He's also trash.
If Hennessy, then watch this, Dan. Watch this. You ready? Voch says this. If Hennessy is that much trash, how much better would your offensive line look like if that bitch read this? Jake Matthews, Penei Sewell, Landon Dickerson, Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McGarry. Don't start with me, Dan. I'll double up.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Atlanta Falcons doubled up on offensive linemen in this draft. In fact, actually, I'm very sure that in round 2 and round 3, or maybe even a jump up back into round 1, depending on how much they really like, say, like a Dickerson or a Leatherwood, or regardless, if they want to grab one of those guys and plug them in. We have 9 picks to work with.
Draft one.
And I don't think we're going to have 9 players that we come out of with this draft.
Draft one of them North Carolina running backs on day 3 somewhere, and just draft defense
But you don't even know
everywhere.
what you have in Ito Smith and Quadri Allison. See, that's the issue, is that it's like this team's about to start over. this is about to start over.
Good. So that gives you even more reason to just take the best guys and fit them in wherever you fit them in at.
Unless you know that there's going to be a weak offensive line class next year.
Which is another good reason why you should just take Sewell and damn Landon Dickerson and play Dickerson.
But if you know that the class is strong this year all the way into round 4, you can still go after guys all the way to that point. That's the thing.
See, Dan, if I was GMing the team and you was GMing the team, I'd smoke your team every year, Dan. If that was the case, I'd smoke your team every year, Dan.
I respect you a lot, Voch. But
smoke your team.
The way that I would build my team would have layers, whereas your team would have the flash and the boom, and maybe would beat me 3 out of 4 years.
That's
but
not
on
true.
That 4th year, I'd smoke you and I'd take a ship.
That's not true because flash and boom would be me saying I'll take Kyle Pitts and run past your linebackers. I'm trying to put Landon Dickerson and Penei Sewell on your offensive line. What's flashy about that? Nothing flashy about that. I'm telling you to keep Matt Ryan and upgrade your fat children. Ain't flashy about that. that's an incredible investment. So now when you have offense, if you're gonna pay Lindstrom, the core of your offensive line is gonna be Lindstrom, Dickerson, and Sewell. You ain't got to touch offensive line again.
But again, those guys, are they going to immediately help Matt Ryan day 1?
Well, see, Dan, you have to
because
make your
Matt
mind
Ryan
up.
has a literally this much time, like maybe about 2 years.
So
So you're going to take 2 draft classes
So watch
and
this.
2 free agent classes. Really, actually 1, because we won't have money till next year when the cap goes back up. And we're going to run with that, trying to save Matt Ryan.
Okay, so watch
and
this.
waste an Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot's first 2 years of being with this team. I don't think anybody that gets hired as a GM or as a head coach puts themselves in that position to go, somebody that I didn't draft, somebody that I don't have any idea about outside of the things that I've talked with. Terry Fontenot knows him because obviously Saints versus Falcons. Why am I wasting 2 years trying to salvage somebody when I can go get my own guy?
So watch this. If you're not going to, so if Sewell and Dickerson don't help you day 1, then nobody's gonna help you day 1. Like there's no other. Trey Lance ain't gonna be better than.
But Trey Lance ain't starting.
Cool. Well, Sewell and Dickerson are. They are. And then when you get into your next year because look, it's easier for top tier offensive linemen to come in and be guys day 1. They may not be who they're gonna be, but Dickerson can play day one. Sewell can play day one, especially at guard. They can play day one. And look, they either gonna help this offense today, but then if you're gonna go with the notion that okay, we're gonna restart and just blow everything up. If Dan gets fired as GM and somebody brings in Voch, say Voch, you're gonna be the new GM. You just inherited Landon Dickerson and Penei Sewell. If I inherit your team, and I can't use Sewell and
Neither
Dickerson,
one of us can say anything today.
I'm an asshole if I can't use Dickerson and Sewell day one. I'm me as a new GM. I'm an asshole if I can't use them. Facts. So shit. Just get the best players that could possibly help you day one and just move on with your life. I understand if I'm saying draft Pitts. Cuss me out if I say, look, Voch says draft Pitts. I renounce my throne. I'll do that if I say draft Pitts. I'm telling you to draft the safest. He's not the safest, but one of the safer, guys in Sewell with the high upside and the safest center pick this year.
So everything that we've talked about up to this particular point about taking a Sewell at 4, who doesn't make any sense, because if I'm taking him for what position he plays, not what he could potentially play, because that's the 4th overall pick, then I would just take Slater. But why would I take Slater?
Okay, watch this. I'm talking from a Falcons perspective. If this was Voch drafting for the Falcons, Voch would take Slater at 4 and Dickerson at the top of the second. If this was Voch drafting, because my board in particular says that Slater.
Then you're moving Jake Matthews to guard.
I would play Slater at guard until I'm sick of Jake Matthews. If I'm sick of Jake Matthews, then I'm putting Slater at left tackle, and I'm just gonna push Matthews off a bridge, and we're gonna have to figure guard out from there. If I'm really crazy, if you really want to see Voch get crazy, Dan, if you really want to see, Dan, if you really want to see Voch get crazy, year one Voch, I'm taking Landon Dickerson, Rashawn Slater, and Deontay Brown first year, and I dare you say something. If this is my very first year, and I ain't gonna get fired till like 3 years or so, I bet I'll take 3 offensive line. I bet I'll do it year 1 and be great year 2, 3, and 4, and 5.
I look at it from a contract building standpoint as well as what the current team has right now at their disposal and what they're trying to do as an organization. And the organization is heavily invested in all of the top quarterbacks at this very time, as they should be sitting at 4.
I think that's unfortunate.
And looking at Matt Ryan's age, the contract that he has, and what kind of system that he has to thrive in, which is a quick timing offense, and watching what Arthur Smith can provide him, which is similar to what he would thrive in. We don't have the pieces that can catch up quick enough to Matt Ryan aging and his contract ending before those players are in a prime position and have caught up to the speed of the NFL. I would take Slater every day of the week if it wasn't for the fact that I have Jake Matthews currently sitting as he would be considered before this restructure one of the highest paid guards in the league if we moved him to guard. But I'm not playing Slater, drafting him at 4 to put him at guard. That doesn't make any sense to me. He's going to play left tackle because I want him to whoop people. I want him to stop all the Saints defensive ends from destroying me.
Okay. I think Rashawn Slater will play left tackle at some point in the league. I think in certain scenarios you would play him at guard first. Like if he went to the Cowboys, Rashawn Slater's playing left guard first. That just is what it is. I don't know who the hell paid Jake Matthews big money that y'all can't move away from him. That's your business, not mine. But
thanks, Thomas Mitroff.
But hey, shouts out to you, Tom. But if you can't move on from Jake Matthews, then yeah, you would have to just pony up and put Rashawn Slater at left guard, because you just don't move on from Rashawn Slater trying to overthink shit. Now, if you get like 2 years down the line and you go, I think I can eat like $8 million and like get rid of Jake Matthews, then fine, you ain't got to worry about drafting left tackle. Then you got one that's been playing guard, preparing himself for that left tackle job. You just move them right over.
I'm sorry, man. The way that I currently see it, the way that my current team is looking at things is that I think it's either going to be Fields or Lance at 4. Okay. I'm not a big Fields fan. I haven't been. He's got mechanical issues that I don't think that he can fix at this next level.
Okay.
And I'm all team Lance as a personal option. I think the Falcons would most likely see who wants to call and potentially come up as a potential trade down, a little more realistic as a potential trade down or take an offensive lineman there. But I'm more or less watching this whole narrative play out. The only person that we've restructured of the big five, there's only been 2 restructures, Jake Matthews and Matt Ryan, both who are movable next year per their new restructures. The people that haven't even been restructured or touched, Deion Jones, mega contract, Grady Jarrett, mega contract, Julio Jones, mega contract. We could move them, but no movement, no restructures, no change, no calls, no trades, no nothing, which to me shows that Grady Jarrett's going to be here for the long haul. Julio Jones is probably going to be here for the long haul. Deion Jones is most likely locked in to play as our middle linebacker for the long haul, at least for the next couple of years. Matt Ryan getting restructured, Jake Matthews getting restructured, and after looking at their contracts, those guys will be moved next year without question. So to me, it's draft the guys that you need to draft over these 9 picks. Don't overthink it. Take Lance, sit him behind Ryan, have him develop, become the quarterback in 2022/2023, and go through the next 2 drafts, beefing up the offensive line and the defensive line. Or we'll probably see a lot of corners actually from the Falcons this year, but I don't like the back half of this corner class, unfortunately. But yes,
well, Dan,
that's where I had it.
Dan, this is hella unfortunate, man. And I'm just gonna say this, bro. Like, these seem like some really, really bad problems. You know what I'm saying? Now, first and foremost, Voch says this: the Cowboys don't have to worry about these problems because we re-signed our quarterback. You know what I mean? So I don't know what you're gonna do at 4th overall, but Dan, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take that 4th overall pick, right? I want you to shine it up real nice. Dan, I want you to pull down the sleeve of your arm, get it like this, and I want you to shine that 4th overall pick up. I want you to put some icy hot on it, right? I want you to turn that sumbitch sideways and stick it straight up. Yo, can you? Voch says this: if it was me, I'd trade out of that 4th. I would trade out of that 4th overall pick, get as many picks as I can. But if you feel the need that you got to overdraft Trey Lance, if you got to overdraft some quarterback, if you got to go away from Matt Ryan, go away from a quarterback that could play for you right now to take this chance, if you don't want to buy into my offensive line program, well, Lieutenant Dan, Voch says this: if you ever run into the Cowboys, we're gonna smoke the hell out of the Falcons.
The Falcons are going to be bad for the next 2 to 3 years. They're going to be a bad team. This is called acceptance and admittance. That when you know your team's bad, when you know things are going to be bad, you start making plans to make it better.
Listen, jabroni, don't you try to bring Voch down with your Falcon sadness because the Cowboys are trending up.
Lieutenant please, by all means, trade all the way to 4 so you can get Slater. Please, I would love to take every Cowboys pick, come all the way down to your pick, and take Pitts right there. That would just, oh my God, just the greatest thing in the entire world. You like that satire, Voch? Because I ain't letting you sniff my pick at worth shit.
Of course you would, jabroni. Of course you would, jabroni, but Rashawn Slater's going to fall to 10th overall.
What's the realistic approach on Slater? Give it to me. Where do you think he actually goes? For reals.
I think Dallas. This is what I think.
Really think
I think first of all, Dan, I think teams suck. I think teams are really bad at this. So what's gonna happen is teams are talking about Slater and his arm length. I think if you whoop Chase Young, arm length don't matter. I think somebody's gonna overdraft Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. And I know it's easy to say why would somebody overdraft Darrisaw. The same reason that what's my man from Georgia last year that went to the Giants, 4th overall? Andrew Thomas.
We were talking about how your chat is so cool, and now they're all like, "Yeah, he's a jabroni. Get him out of here. He sucks, man." My
chat is amazing, Dan. But I think somebody's gonna overvalue Rashawn Slater's arm length. I mean, pardon me. They're gonna undervalue Slater's arm length, and they're gonna super like Darrisaw, and Slater might get taken after Darrisaw. Just because, you know what I'm saying? Just because of that little situation. And teams suck at drafting. I think Kyle Pitts is going to make guys fall. I think one of these corners might make somebody fall. And I think Slater will be there for Dallas. Stephen Jones sneakily came out and said, "Hey man, we need help on offense, man. But when you do what you do in free agents, I mean, you can open yourself up to do things on offense. You know what I'm saying? You never know. We'll just draft defense later." So in my mind, what that means is the Cowboys need defense, but that's not pigeonholing us into drafting defense early. So I think either Slater's gonna be there or it's just gonna be one of the corners, and I'll just move on with my life and just hope for a better day too. Because it ain't gonna be boss man fat. If they take a corner, it's gonna be like Surtain or Farley, and I'm gonna have my reservations about both. They'll be fine players, but I just think it's gonna be corners better than them. But it is what it is. I don't see them. I definitely don't see them taking boss man fat 10th overall. I hope they would take Horn. I got enough faith in my team to draft well. I will say that I got enough faith in my Cowboys to draft well. So even if they don't do what I would do, I think it'll be something that I can live with, and that's either Slater or J.C. Horn or Surtain or Farley.
Cool.
Lieutenant Dan, this was incredible. I know we don't do this much, and I know you think we're not friends, but that's not the case. I just been working and moving, and I'm a dad now. You know what I'm saying? She over there napping and shit. So I just been a little busy. But tax it on my mind, not my heart. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Cool. Tell the good people what. So Lieutenant Dan does Falcons content. If y'all had no clue what kind of content he does Falcons, and of course everybody that does a team particular type of content, we all do draft now. So you know, Dan's doing draft, Deuce is doing draft, Coach Evans doing draft, we're all doing draft. But in the season he does Cowboy content. So Dan, would you tell the people where they can find you and where you do your gaming on Twitch and all that?
So I have actually officially moved over to twitch.tv/unintentional grounding for.
Dan, hold on, Dan.
perma.
Dan, they got to chant your name on it. Go ahead, sir. Where on Twitch can they find you officially?
Twitch.tv/unintentional grounding. Go check me out right over there. All of our film sessions, all of our video gaming, all of our Falcons content, all of our draft content, because that's going to be primarily what I'm going to do from now on. It won't be just Falcons driven, but we will have more variety of content for you. We do mock drafts over there. We do drafts not only for the Falcons, but also for all the other 31 teams. That's where you can primarily find me, as well as UNGR_show on Twitter and Instagram. I have a YouTube. If you want to go over there and go see it, cool. If you don't, cool. It's a dying channel. It'll be probably dead in 2 months.
Don't say that.
So twitch.tv/unintentional grounding. Go check me out. Go follow over there if you want to go check all my stuff out.
Don't say that sad shit, man. You gonna send your YouTube channel to the elephant graveyard and shit, man. Don't.
It's already happening. Again, a lot has changed, Voch. We have not talked. And a lot has gone down.
I wish you would stop reminding me how bad of a friend I am. I wish you would cut that shit out. You don't mind. Anyway, happy for you, Dan, and your new Twitch move. We're going to try to get you to partner and all that good stuff. I think that's what they do on Twitch. They got to beat Twitch partners and all that. So we're going to work on
We got a Voch Lombardi emote over there going. Huh?
What?
Yeah, come on over. Come on over. Tier one sub. Come on over. Support the channel. You get the Voch Lombardi emote, the "What are you doing?" emote.
Should I sue you for that?
You got Julio Jones eating popcorn, Matt Ryan point snack. You got all the emotes are custom made myself. All the banners, all the stuff, all custom myself.
Do I get royalties for that?
I asked you about this in 2018. You were like, "Seems cool," and then I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah, you probably did.
You want royalties? I mean, we could go to court, I guess.
You know what? To be fair, you probably asked, and I was probably just cool about it. All right, whatever. So one day, Dan's gonna make $1 million off my emote, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey,
$1 million off
fuck?
the emote."
Hey man, you never know shit." Lieutenant Dan, this was fun. Everybody, y'all can follow me. Well, shit, y'all here, so shit. But then I gotta Twitter, I guess. VOCHLOMBARDI. So just check me on those platforms or whatnot. We're gonna leave with a little bit of Cash Kai. You know what I'm saying? If y'all was around for the stream, then y'all would know how important Cash Kai is to this stream or whatever. But hey, for the rest of y'all that don't know, go watch the last episode all the way to the end, and you'll see the greatness that is Cash Kai. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hold it down for the Doski Wilson, Peace, Whiskey, man. Me and Lieutenant Dan are gone. Peace.
Fuck it. I ain't tryna eat no IHOP. Bitch, when I'm in town, you could put that loss out. Fuck it. I came in with the pack out. Fuck it. I came in with the pack out. Pack out. Shit, that's a touchdown. Ran a fucking post route. Trick that nigga out of town. Came back with the homies, then I counted up. Tell that nigga bring that beat, then we counted up. Flame